Hi everyone, it's Katie, and today I have something that I'm really excited about to share with you. I have quite a few new tarot decks that I've collected in the last month or so. Most of those have been through trades or just complete bargains that I found on Gumtree or eBay that I just couldn't pass up. But the one that I have been most excited about is the Gill Tarot. This one I got in a trade train that ran on Aeclectic Tarot recently, where basically, you know, you all take turns to list a few decks that you're willing to trade, and someone picks it, and then the next person offers their stuff up. So by the end of it, you're all trading a different deck around the world. And I swear my pick was the fastest ever. Like, as soon as somebody offered up their decks, I saw the Gill Tarot, I didn't even look at any of the other decks, and I got in first for this one. I was so excited. There's a bit of a story to this deck for me. When I first started getting back into tarot, you know, I went through that exploration phase of what sort of decks were out there. And there were plenty that, you know, I liked and I thought were beautiful. But searching through on Aeclectic Tarot, when I came across the Gill Tarot, I just fell madly in love. I couldn't believe how much of a connection I had with the 9 images that are on Aeclectic Tarot, but I just fell head over heels, like soul level in love with this deck. It was also the first time that I came to realize that some decks are out of print and some decks are difficult to find and cost quite a bit of money. So I'd kind of given up on the idea of owning this deck, at least for the foreseeable future. And then when it came up on the trade train, it was obscene how excited I was. I'm a sharer, that's what I do. When something makes me happy, I want to share it. So I want to share this deck with you. It comes in a simple little tuck box. The deck is by Josephine Gill, and it was published by US Games, I think in 1990. It was in the 90s anyway, so it's a bit retro. There is a book for this deck written by Josephine Gill that is still in print, or at least still widely available, and I have ordered that, so it's on its way to me. But the little white book that it comes with is actually really quite useful, but they really do just kind of give you a snapshot of the card, and they also quite in a clever sort of way do give you a bit of information about the symbolism, and without going into a lot of detail, they do kind of inform you on why she chose the sort of symbolism that she did. The cards, the shape of them kind of reminds me a little bit of the Osho Zen, just that kind of shorter and wider, sort of squarer sort of card shape. The backing is this Tree of Life Kabbalah sort of imagery going on, and it says at the bottom, "And I see men as trees walking." The pips, some of them aren't really scenic pips, I guess is what you would call them. They're not scenic, but they're still, you know, illustrated enough that they help kind of prompt the general meaning of the card. And all of the pips also have a key word, which is not something I really thought I'd be into for tarot, but it just works so well for this deck. So I'll just show you a few of the images. These are in no particular order at all. This is the death card. For me, these images have just been really readable. You know, I get messages from these cards immediately, and I really enjoy looking at them. I think the colours are beautiful. Even the court cards, which sometimes there are probably a third of the court cards that I struggle with. You know, they're the cards that I find the most difficult to read, I think. I don't find that with this deck at all. You know, with the pips, they're not scenic illustrated, but there's enough there to really get your intuitive juices flowing, and you definitely get a feeling and a message from these cards. And I like the keyword that has been chosen for the majority of these cards. You know, there's always that risk with the keyword that it doesn't fit for you, you know, that it limits the message of the card more than it adds to it. Whereas the keywords that have been chosen for this deck really work for me. So that's certainly something that makes reading with this deck joyful and easy and effortless. And I just think it's beautiful. I really love the imagery on this deck. Some of the images like this one are a little bit more minimalist, and the suit, the pentacles, is the discs. And so they're pretty much symbolized by anything round, wheels, circles, whatever. I love this ace. I think it's beautiful. I'm not sure if it was yesterday or the day before, but I posted a like a past, present, future spread with the Gill Tarot on my Instagram, and that spread just really had me. It really got me. I was focusing kind of on my work life, my purpose, my career, sort of that sort of energy. I'd spent the day on Wednesday out at an information session about a field that I'm very interested in getting into, but it's difficult and I'm a long way off. And my past was the Ten of Swords, Desolation. This card in other decks has come up for me a lot over the past few years in so many areas of my life, and I think you know, if you know anything about me and my history with mental illness, that's really what it felt like. Everything was taken away from me. You know, I was studying law and doing very well, and you know, I had plans to advocate for marginalized people and change the world. You know, I was set where I was heading, and my illness just, you know, took all of that away from me. It took just so much direction away from me. I had nothing left, and I think this card really says quite a lot about that, especially with the swords being so much about, you know, mental turmoil specifically. And then in the present, I had the Wheel of Fortune, and I just love how the imagery of this with the colourful wheel is so similar to the Ten of Swords. And I think, you know, I think that speaks volumes to where I feel like I'm at the moment. You know, there's so much that's still kind of left over from this place. This place has shaped so much of where I'm at the moment, just by its nature of taking everything away from me. So this place of where I'm at now has really been shaped by the past, but it doesn't quite look so scary. You know, there is a lot more potential here, and it definitely does show a shift in that sort of energy for me, and it also kind of does show that I have a lot of potential, and that I think it was a big reminder for me that I am only 25. You know, the last 4 or 5 years of my life does not define the rest of my life. You know, the wheel is still turning, and change is inevitable. I'm not going to stay in that place of desolation forever, and I'm not really there anymore either. And for my future, I drew the Priestess, which is the High Priestess in this deck. And you know, this is always a wonderful card to get. It's a beautiful card, and I think I definitely did get, you know, the messages of intuition and that really authentic, sort of emotionally and spiritually authentic living. And I decided to have a little look at the white book, and I didn't read it all, but the thing that jumped out to me was, reflective like the moon, she mirrors, absorbs and returns light. And that really got me, because you know, the career day that I'd just gone to was all about peer support and how we can use our lived experience of suffering and recovery to really hold that light for other people and to help them find it within themselves. You know, to advocate for people, but also teach them to advocate for themselves. That idea that the light is within other people, and they just need someone to hold up the mirror, to be reminded of that, to be shown what strength already lies within them. That's something that I think is really empowering, and that to me was just really confirmation that that's somewhere that I can be of value, that I do have something to give. So I just thought I'd share that to show you just how powerful this deck has been for me already. And I have only been doing small spreads so far, because I've only had this deck for, you know, less than a week, but it has brought me so much joy already, and I'm just so happy to have it. You know, when you fall in love with a deck and you kind of resign yourself to the fact that you're not going to have it anytime in the near future, possibly ever, and then for it to come into my life in such an abrupt and unexpected way was just really exciting. So I am so happy to have the Gill Tarot in my life. I think without a doubt, this is going to be a deck that I use for the rest of my life. You know, it just feels comfortable. It feels familiar. So if you have a story of, you know, falling in love with a deck and then it just finding its way to you when it was meant to, I would love to hear about that. And I would just love to hear about your favorite decks. I think that's a really fun discussion, because I think this, in the week that I've owned it, has jumped right up to the top of that list for me. So I will talk to you all again very soon, and until then, much love. Bye.